Good morning, grade 3. Today we will complete the revision for chapter 9. We will take part 2, lesson 7, lesson 9 and lesson 10. So we will start with lesson 7, fractions in simplest form. Okay, so before we start with the lesson, we will revise with the meaning of factors and how can we find common factors. So factors are numbers we can multiply to get another number. So 2 times 3 equals 6. Then I will say that 2 is a factor of 6, 3 is a factor of 6, and 6 is the product of 2 and 3. So the factor 2 and the factor 3 are numbers. I will multiply them together to give me the product 6. So now I want to know what's the factors for 6. I have to remember the multiplication facts for 6. Okay, so 1 times 6 equals 6 and 2 times 3 equals 6. So what's the factor for 6? 1, 2, 3 and 6. Now what's the factors of 12? I have to remember the multiplication facts that it will give me 12. I know that 1 times 12 equals 12, 2 times 6 equals 12, and 3 times 4 equals 12. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 are factors of 12. Now after finding the factors of 6 and 12, I have to find the common factors between the 6 and 12. Then I will see the common numbers up and down. I have 1, 2, 3, and 6. 4 is not a common factor because I cannot find here the 4, and 12 it's not common because it's only here. Now we will find the common factors between 8 and 12. So I will remember the multiplication fact that they will give me 8. I know that 1 times 8 equals 8, 2 times 4 equals 8. Then 1, 2, 4 and 8 are factors of 8, and for 12 I will take the same numbers from up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Now I will find the common numbers between here and here. So the common factors between 8 and 12. I have 1, 2, 4 and 3. I don't have here 3, so it's not common. 6 and 12 are not common factors, and 8 is not a common factor here. So how can I say that the fraction in its simplest form? The fraction will be in its simplest form if the numerator and denominator have no common factors other than 1. So what the meaning of common factors? That I cannot divide the numerator and the denominator by any number other than 1. So for this fraction 8 over 12, I will try to remember the common factors between 8 and 12. I know that 8 and 12 are divisible by 2 because 8 and 12 are even numbers. Then I will divide 8 by 2 and 12 by 2. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Now I have a new fraction. I will check, is it in its simplest form? No, because 4 and 6 are even numbers and I can divide both of them by 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2 and 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Now for this fraction, I'll try to think about a common factor between the 2 and 3. There is no common factor between 2 and 3 other than 1, and if I divide by 1 up and down, it will give me the same fraction because 2 divided by 1 equals 2 and 3 divided by 1 equals 3. Then I will have the same fraction again. So in this case, I will say that this fraction in its simplest form 2 over 3. Now another student, he will solve it by dividing by 4 from the first time. 8 divided by 4 equals 12, and 8 divided by 4 equals 2, and 12 divided by 4 equals 3. Then I have the same fraction up and down. Now we will solve 6 over 12. 6 and 12 are even numbers, then I can divide both of them by 2. And at the same time, 6 is a common factor between 6 and 12, so I can divide by 6. It will give me 1 over 2. It will give me a half. Now for the second one, 5 and 12, I can divide by 5 up and down because 5 is a common factor between 5 and 20. 5 divided by 5 equals 1, and 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Now for this fraction, I will try to think about a common number that I can divide up and down. I cannot divide up and down by any number other than 1, then I will say that this fraction in its simplest form. Okay, now we will solve 3, 5, 7, 8 and 11 on page 557. Now for this fraction I have to write it in its simplest form, and if it is in simplest form then I will write simplest form. So for number 3 I have 20 and 30. Both numbers are having 0 here, then I will know that both of them I can divide them by 10. 20 divided by 10 equals 2 over 30 divided by 10 equals 3. Now I will think about another number that I can divide up and down. There is no number, then I will say this is the simplest form for 20 over 30. Now for number 5 I have the same one here, then 2 over 3, it's in the simplest form because I cannot divide the numerator and the denominator by any number. Now number 7 I have 6 and 8, they are even numbers, then I can divide up and down by 2. 2 will give me 3 over 4. Now can I divide more? No, 3 and 4, they don't have any common number other than 1. And for number 8 I have 9 and 18. I know that 9 equals 1 times 9 and 18 equals 2 times 9, then 9 is a common factor between both of them. Then 9 divided by 9 equals 1, 18 divided by 9 equals 2, and half is in the simplest form. Now number 11, explain how you can tell if 3 over 14 is in simplest form. So I will say that the fraction in its simplest form when I cannot find any common number between the numerator and the denominator. So 3 and 14, there is no common factor between them, then I cannot divide by any number, then it's in the simplest form. Okay, now we will revise lesson 9, comparing and ordering fractions. Okay, we said before that comparing I will use it when I have only 2 fractions, and ordering when I have 3 or more fractions. So for the ordering I will say this is the first, second and third, and for comparing I will use the symbols greater than, smaller than or equal. So for this lesson I will compare and order when I have common denominators and when I have common numerators and when I have different numerators and denominators. Okay, so in the first here case when I have common denominators, okay, for comparing I have 1 over 8 and 3 over 8. I have common denominator 8 and 8. So first step I will cross the 8, then I will see which number is greater, 3 or 1. 3 is greater than 3 over 8 is greater than 1 over 8. For number 2 I have common denominators 9 and 9. I will cross the 9s, then I will see which number is greater, 7 or 6. 7 is greater, then this fraction is greater. For number 3 I have 2 over 5 and 1 over 5. I have common denominator. I will cross the 5s, then I will see which number is greater, 2 or 1. 2 is greater, then 2 over 5 is greater than 1 over 5. And for number 4 I have common denominators 4 and 4. I will cross them, then I will compare between 3 and 2. 3 is greater than 2, then 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Now this is for comparing. For ordering I will check if I want from least to greatest or from greatest to least. We said least, it means smallest. So the first step I will cross all the common denominators, then I will compare the numbers normally. I want from least to greatest, then 1, then 3, then 5. Now for number 2 I want from greatest to least. First step I will cross the common denominator 7, 7, 7, then I will see where is the greatest number, 6, then 5, then 3. Then this is the greatest fraction, then this, then this. Now when I have common numerators, so in comparing, first I will cross the common number, the numerator, then I will compare between the 6 and 3. I know that 6 is greater than 3, but because my numbers are down under the line, I will flip the sign. So I will put this sign here, then third is greater than 1 over 6. For number 2, I will cross the common numerators, then I have 5 and 9. I know that 9 is greater than 5, but because the number is down, I will flip the sign. Then 3 over 5 is greater than 3 over 9. Now for the ordering, here I have 1, 1, 1 up, so I will cross the common numerators. Here I want you to order from least to greatest. Then I will see I have 9, 2 and 8. 9 is the greatest number, then 1 over 9 is the smallest fraction, then 1 over 8, then half. For number 2, I want you to order from greatest to least, so I will cross the common numerators first. Then I will have 9, 10, 8. 8 is the smallest number, but because it is down, then this fraction is the greatest. It will be 6 over 8, this is number 1, then 6 over 9, then 6 over 10. Now when I have different numerators and denominators, I have to make a common numerator or common denominator. So for comparing here, I have 12 and 4, they are different denominators. We said we will make common denominators because it is easier. So how can I make the 4 12? I know that 4 times 3 will give me 12. I multiply it down by 3, then I will multiply up by the same number. So this fraction will go down. And here 2 times 3 equals 6 over 4 times 3 equals 12. Now I have common denominators. I will cross them. Then I will see which number is greater, 6 or 3. 6 is greater, then this fraction is greater. For number 2, I have different denominators here. So how can I make the 2 3? There is no number times 2 will give me 3. How can I make the 3 2? There is no number divided by 3 will give me 2. So in this case, I will multiply this fraction by 2 and this fraction by 3. It will give me 2 times 2, 4 over 6, and 1 times 3, 3 over 2 times 3, 6. Now I have common denominators. I will cross the numbers. 4 is greater than 3, then 2/3 is greater than half. Now for ordering, here I want from least to greatest. I have 2, 6, 6. So how can I make the 2 6? I know that 2 times 3 equals 6. I will multiply up and down. It will give me 3 over 6, 4 over 6, 5 over 6. I will cross the common denominators. I want from least to greatest. Then this is number 1, 2, and 3. Here I want from greatest to least. I have to look at the denominators. I have different denominators. I have to make common denominators. I have 4, 4, 8. So how can I make the 4, 8? I will multiply by 2 up and down. And here the same. 3 times 2 equals 6 over 8. 2 times 1 equals 2 over 8. And 5 over 8 will go down. Now I want from greatest to least. I have 6, 2, 5. Then this is number 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3. Okay, now we will solve from the book here. We need white papers. Okay, now write greater than, smaller than, or equal for each circle. You may use fraction steps to help. So for number 1, I have 4 and 8. I have different denominators and I have different numerators. So I have to make common denominators. So how can I make the 4, 8? I will multiply the 4 by 2 to give me 8. Then I will multiply here by 2 by 2. It will give me 6 over 8 and 5 over 8. Now I have common denominators. Which number is greater, 6 or 5? 6 is greater, then this fraction is greater. Now for number 2, I have common denominators. Then I will compare between 7 and 4. 7 is greater, then this fraction is greater. Now for number 3, I have different denominators. So in this case, I will make common denominators. How can I make the 5, 10? I will multiply the 5 by 2 to give me 10. And in this case, I can use also division. How can I make the 10 5? I can divide here by 2 and up by 2. So it will give me 2 over 5. 4 divided by 2 equals 2 over 5. Then I will say that here I have common denominators. 2 and 2 are equal. Then the fractions are equal. Or you can use here multiplication. You can multiply this fraction by 2. It will give you 4 over 10. Then they are also equal. Now for number 4, you have half and fourth. So I have common numerators. So now I will look down. In math, 4 is greater than 2, but because the numbers are down, I will flip the sign. Then I will say that half is greater than fourth. And now for number 5, I have different denominators. So how can I make the 4 6? There is no number times 4 will give me 6. How can I make the 6 4? There is no number divided by 6 will give me 4. So in this case, I will multiply this fraction up and down by 6 and this fraction up and down by 4. It will give me 12 over 24, 6 over 24. Common denominators, 12 is greater than 6, then this fraction is greater. Okay, now for number 13, Dorothy finished 3/5 of her homework. Amanda finished half of her homework. Which girl finished more of her homework? So which one finished more? Then I have to compare. So I will take, this is for Dorothy and this is for Amanda. Which one is greater? Which fraction is greater? I don't have common numerator. I don't have common denominator. So I have to make common denominators. How can I make the 2 5? There is no number times 2 will give me 5. How can I make the 5 2? There is no number times 5 will, divided by 5 will give me 2. So in this case, I will multiply this fraction by 2 and this fraction by 5. It will give me 3 times 2, 6 over 10, and this is 5 over 10. Common denominator, 6 is greater than 5. Then I will say that 3 over 5 is greater than half. Then I will say that Dorothy finished more. Okay, now for ordering, order the numbers from least to greatest. Okay, so now we will do number 9. I have half, 3 over 4 and 3 over 8. I have to find common denominators here. I have 2, 4 and 8. I know that 2 times 4 will give me 8 and 4 times 2 will give me 8. So I will multiply here up and down by 4 and here up and down by 2. It will give me 4 over 8, 6 over 8 and 3 over 8. I have common denominators. I want from least to greatest. Then this is number 1, this is number 2 and this is number 3. And here I will have the same 1, 2 and 3. Now for number 10, I have 3 over 4, 7 over 12 and 2 over 3. Here is the greatest number. I know that I can multiply 4 by 3 to give me 12. Then I multiply up and down. I know that 3 times 4 will give me 12. Then I will multiply up and down by 4. 3 times 3 equals 9 over 12. This fraction will go down. And here I have 8 over 12. I have common denominators. I will cross them out. Then I want here least to greatest. So this is the least. 7, then 8, then 9. Then here I have 3, 1, 2, and here I have 3, 1 and 2. Okay, now we will revise the last lesson Lesson 10, mixed numbers and improper fractions. We said that this is a fraction that it has a numerator smaller than the denominator. Numerator is smaller than the denominator, and the whole is a whole number like 5, 12, 10, 100. Now, what's the difference between improper fraction and fraction? Improper fraction, it has a numerator greater than the denominator, but in the fraction the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Now, how can I make a mixed number? Mixed number, it is a fraction and whole. So I have whole number and fraction, like 3 and half, 7 and 2/8. Okay, so again the lesson is about mixed numbers and improper fraction. So improper fraction is a fraction that it has its numerator greater than the denominator, and the mixed number is a number that it has a whole and a part. It has a whole and a fraction. Okay, in this lesson we will revise how to transfer between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So here for number 1, we will have a mixed number and we will find the improper fraction, and for number 2 we will have the improper fraction and we will find the mixed number. We said before that if I'm given the mixed number, I have here whole and fraction. How can I find the improper fraction? I will multiply the denominator by the whole. This is number 1. Then I will add the answer to the numerator. So 4 times 2 equals 8. Now the 8, I will add it to 3. 8 plus 3 equals 12. Then my fraction is 12 over the same denominator. Here I have, this is mixed number. I will multiply the denominator by whole. It will give me 6. 6 added to 4, it will give me 10 over the same denominator. And here I will multiply 4 times 5 equals 20 plus 3 equals 23 over the same denominator. Now for number 2, how can I find the mixed number if I'm given the improper fraction? In this case, if I'm given the improper fraction, I will use the long division. So I have 14 and 6. I will divide 14 divided by 6 equals 2. 2 times 6 equals 12. Subtract the numbers, then you will have 2. There is no numbers to take down, then you are done. So my answer is, I will put the whole, this is 2. Then I will put over the same denominator 6 and 6, and I will put up the remainder here. So my mixed number here is 2 and 2/6. Now for this example, I have 11 over 3. This is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So I will use the long division to find the mixed number. So I will divide 11 by 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. 11 minus 9 equals 2. So how can I write the mixed number? I will write the answer, the whole here. Then I will write the remainder over the same denominator here. Okay, now we will solve this. This is page 558. Write each mixed number as an improper fraction. So here I have mixed number, whole and fraction. I will multiply first, then I will add. 7 times 1 equals 7. 7 plus 5 equals 12 over the same denominator. Number 2, I will multiply, then I will add. 4 times 3 equals 12 plus 1, 13 over the same denominator. And for number 3, 2 times 5 equals 10 plus 1, 11 over the same denominator. Now here write each improper fraction as a mixed number. So I have here improper fractions. I will use long division to find the answer. So for number 6, I will divide 9 by 4. 9 divided by 4. So what times 4 will give me 9? Nothing. I will go one number down. What times 4 will give me 8? 2. Then here my answer is 2R 1. I don't care about the remainder, just I want the answer. So now 9 divided by 4 equals 2. 2 times 4 equals 8. Two numbers, subtract them. 9 minus 8 equals 1. there is no numbers here to take down, then you are done. How you will write the mixed number? This is the answer, then here I will put 2, then the fraction, here it was over 4, then it will be over 4, this number, and I will put the remainder up. So my mixed number is 2/4. Now for number 8, I will divide 22 by 3. 22 divided by 3 equals 7. 7 times 3 equals 21. 22 minus 21 equals 1. Now there is no numbers to take down, then you are done. So what's the answer? This is 22 over 3 equals, this is the whole. The fraction, it will be over the same number, and you will put up the remainder. Then this is 7/3. And for number 10, you will divide 17 by 5. 17 divided by 5 equals 3. 3 times 5 equals 15. 7 minus 5 equals 2, and 1 minus 1 equals 0. There is no numbers to take down, then you are done. So my answer is whole and fraction. I will put the same denominator down and I will put the remainder up. Then my answer is 3 2/5. Now for the last one, here number 16. Amy wrote 3 different improper fractions that each equal the whole number 3. What could those 3 fractions be? So you have to write 3 improper fractions that it has a numerator greater than the denominator, and then you will have the answer is what? A whole 3. So you will think about 2 numbers. If you divide them by each other, it will give you 3, like 18 divided by 6, it will give you 3. If you make the long division, it will give you 3. And 21 divided by 7, 27 divided by 9, all of them will give you 3. So now we finish the revision. Thanks for watching.